Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas.
Hello.
We're back from international break.
Yay.
I don't know. I don't like covering international break, I guess, because we can't watch all of the games.
Yeah,
There's so much going on. There's just way too much to cover. I think the best game that I saw was the England-Spain game. England came out on top, and that was fantastic.
England came out on top. I thought that was a 1-1 draw.
No, I think it was 3-2.
Oh. I'm thinking of something else then.
I believe it was 3-2.
But I didn't actually watch any of the games. I'm kind of disappointed that I missed the men's national team losing and win in a draw. And the women's national team.
Wait a second. This isn't right.
Also,
No, that's not the right game.
also won again. And they have already punched their ticket to the Women's World Cup. So they will be defending their title, which is fantastic. I'm really pumped about seeing that.
I thought England won that game.
I don't know which one.
Oh, there it is. Well, no, yeah, there it is. It was 3-2 England.
Okay.
It was coming up as a different game. Sorry. Yeah, but I mean, U.S. women's national team is always dominant. They're
the women's national team.
Exactly.
They're awesome. Rapinoe is still Rapinoe.
Morgan is still absolutely crushing it. It's
Yeah.
I mean, and then even with all the new faces that are coming in all the time. They come in and immediately mend into the team.
Yeah,
It's
it's actually really good to watch. With Julie Ertz is still on top of things. Like you said, Alex Morgan, and Megan Rapinoe is still fantastic. So the U.S. women's team has punched their ticket to the Women's World Cup next year, which is awesome. They're going to defend their title, and hopefully bring it home again, which would be awesome.
Go for 4.
Yep. The men's national team still putting some pieces together. We'll figure it out, I guess.
I am happy with the direction things are going.
I'm not disappointed. I don't know if happy is how I would classify it, but I'm not completely disappointed like I was when they didn't make the World Cup. When the men's national team didn't make the World Cup, that was embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're always talking about the U.S., and then the direction they're going now is definitely improvement. And I like the fact that they're finally bringing in some young blood.
Mm-hmm.
And getting and not that I have anything against the veterans, but I mean guys like Clint Dempsey, it was time. It was time for him to go. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of fans of Clint Dempsey out there. El Capitan, whatever, but. Michael Bradley, time to go. I think bringing him back into the squad is a disastrous idea. I mean, you need some experience and you need those veterans out there, but at the same time, I mean, I think you got to find some that are
also younger.
Yeah.
And I think they are right now in Pulisic and DeAndre Yedlin. I'm very, very happy with how much Yedlin has matured. He used to be the young hothead. Especially during the 2014 World Cup, but he's matured. He's one of the leaders in the defense right now, and he's proving why he should be.
Yeah.
I think those veterans are okay. Leave them in. They have a little bit of experience, to pass on to the new guys, and the new guys have so much talent.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
It's just there's no reason, I guess, right now for them to bring back some of the old guys anymore. So I think we have a very prosperous future ahead of us, but we're still putting screws back in after the implosion that we had after.
Yeah, I agree.
But eventually we'll get there. I don't know if we'll be ready for the next World Cup. I'm hoping we will be. There's still a long road ahead, but we'll have to push through and find out what we can do about that. Coming back to English Premier League. Wow.
kind of a fun
what
week. Yeah,
Yeah, it
fun
was a
week.
really good week. My boys in blue stayed undefeated by the hair on their chin. Thank you, Ross Barkley.
Yeah, right.
Chelsea just didn't. They were way too predictable in the final third. It was just there wasn't anything creative, and I think that was their problem. They scored a fantastic free kick in the 21st minute, or a fantastic goal off the corner in the 21st minute, for Antonio Rudiger. It was just
Yeah, that was a fantastic header.
it was a fantastic play to get away from Paul Pogba, lose his man, and just drill it back post. Brilliant.
And it was just the really creative part of that is if you watch it and you see David Luiz, just he's kind of moving closer and closer and closer and closer, and it kind of setting up that pick. And it was, I think it was designed that way. I mean, he knew that, Rudiger would go one way and Pogba would have to go the other way, leaving Rudiger all by himself coming across the penalty spot in order to head that ball in. I mean, it was, like you say, if you watch the highlights, you can see him take his man closer and closer. And he's looking at him. He's looking, what's going on. And it was brilliant. It was a fantastic goal. I think Chelsea played well. I think United played okay. They got really frustrated with themselves. I mean, you can see after that goal that Rudiger scored, Paul Pogba was just throwing a temper tantrum. I mean, he looked like a 12-year-old out there. Who just,
and during that time, Chelsea had control of the match. And then kind of towards the end of the first half, and definitely coming out of for the second half, Manchester United started taking back control. And they scored two great goals for Anthony Martial.
They were good goals.
I think definitely United actually had more control over the match, because they held the control throughout most of the second half. And I can't remember exactly what happened to have so much extra stoppage time. But there were 6 minutes of stoppage time, and it ended up.
There was an injury.
It was Anthony Martial taking so long to walk off the pitch.
Yep. And it cost United 2 points.
It cost United their points, because it added that little bit of extra time. And Ross Barkley was able to. He was just in the right spot at the right time. There were 2 great attempts on goal from Chelsea, from David Luiz and Rudiger, off of a set piece, and it bounced into Ross Barkley's feet and he put it in the net.
Yeah. Match stats had the game pretty even for the most part. I mean, there were some pretty big disparities in passes. Accurate passes. Chelsea had 543 to 282,
and that's just Jorginho. I mean, that's just what he does.
But I mean, and 9 to 17 on fouls. Corner kicks, offsides, the same. The shots was 21 to 7, 19 to 5 on chances. Chelsea had 62% of the ball, and United had 38. I mean, it was a good game. It was a really good game to watch. There was a lot of good football. There's a lot of really weird things going on too.
The good game was kind of ruined at the end, and it was Marco Ianni, an assistant coach for Chelsea, celebrating the goal, went up to. Right in front of the United bench.
Right in front of Jose Mourinho.
Right in front of Jose Mourinho. And celebrated, staring directly at him. It was definitely taunting. And it prompted Jose Mourinho to get up and actually, almost go for a fist fight.
He did.
With Marco Ianni.
Yeah, he was straight out of his chair and down the tunnel. He was chasing somebody. And if the stewards and everybody hadn't got him, they would have been on. But... and then that kind of spilled over onto the field, and so we got a little bit extra than the 6 minutes of extra time. But
it went into like 9.
Yeah, but there's some charges being filed by the FA over all that stuff, and it's kind of disappointing that professionals at that level. Marco Ianni is a second assistant. Coach. I mean, this is a pretty high level cat, man. I mean, this isn't just some backroom scrub. He's the guy who washes the uniforms after the match. So, I mean, this is a second assistant coach, and he came with Sarri,
From Napoli, yeah.
From Napoli. So I mean, this guy's been around the block a little bit. He knows what's up, and just let his emotions get away. And it happens. I don't want to see him like lose his job or anything over it, but they really need to put the hammer down on him. Say,
Yeah.
listen, come on. There's a certain amount of professionalism that's expected from somebody at that level of the game. And he failed to exhibit that. And and Jose Mourinho followed suit. I'm not letting him off the hook. The way he jumped up out of his seat, and sure, the same thing. If somebody says the right thing to me, I'm up out of my seat too. I get it. But at the same time, you have to deal with the repercussions that are involved when you do let your emotions run amok like that. And that's what happened. I mean, Jose Mourinho, was Chelsea's manager for two different spells. And he's won 3 league titles.
Yeah, 3.
At Stamford Bridge, and then coming back to Stamford Bridge, he's not the most popular dude there right now. I mean, and he really needed to kind of put his tongue between his teeth a little bit, and I think he missed out on that opportunity to be a professional. So whatever happens. Like I said, I don't think anybody should lose their job over it, but I mean at the same time, there really needs to be somebody needs to remind them you're professionals. You need to act like professionals.
Exactly.
You guys are the ones that people look up to. Start acting like it. But other than that, it was a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Fun to watch.
A little piece of news from the Brighton Newcastle game. Very early on in the game, Glenn Murray was straight up knocked out.
Lights out, sucker.
And we did find out that he was awake before getting to the hospital. So as far as we know, he's doing okay. He'll probably be out for 2 weeks with concussion protocol. But he went up for a header, and the defender basically unintentionally. He went up. It was a 50-50 ball. Went up and headbutted him right in the back of the neck, and he was out before he hit the ground.
He was out before he hit the ground. You could see it. I mean, it was a bad.
But we're glad to hear that he's doing okay, and we wish him good luck in his recovery. Hopefully, we'll see him soon back on the pitch.
Come on, Hammerhead, get up.
Liverpool continued their streak, staying on top.
Lucky.
Second. I don't know. I don't think it was lucky. I think Liverpool played well, especially with some of the injuries that they were dealing with.
I don't know that I would say they played well. They played okay. They were playing Huddersfield, and it was a 1-0 win. I'm glad to see, my man Mo Salah, got a goal. That's 5, I think, for the season. And it was his 50th in English football. I think it was 2 for Chelsea and the other 48 for Liverpool. But and that's nice. I love to see that. I'm glad to see him. You can see his confidence starting to build a little bit. But at the same time, and yeah, they've got some injuries they were dealing with. But I mean, my man of the match was without a doubt, Xherdan Shaqiri. He was the catalyst for a lot of what was going on. Danny Sturridge seems like he's still doing pretty good. I'm happy to see that. He's been kind of an albatross for me for a couple of years now. I always kept wondering, why are they keeping this guy around? I mean, he's been on the bench for literally over a year. But I mean, he's back in the game, and I'm glad to see that. Liverpool plays a faster, more attack-oriented football than I saw them play against Huddersfield. Mm-hmm. It was almost like they really just kind of sat back and let Huddersfield come at them.
And that may have been part of the tactics, and because they did lose Sadio Mane, who broke his thumb during international break. So he'll be out, I believe, another 2 weeks. Actually, with a thumb, it might not be that long. But that may have been part of the tactics, is create a little bit more defensive, because they lost one of their attackers, and replaced it with Xherdan Shaqiri. I'm not inside the mind of Jurgen Klopp. I would love to be. That would be absolutely amazing to know what he's thinking sometimes with football. But I mean that may have been the tactics. But I think Huddersfield definitely played really well. So all credit, I got to give credit to them for playing their hearts out against the top, the second team in the league right now.
Even even Xherdan Shaqiri and Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp apparently was very upset with the team after that match, and Xherdan Shaqiri said that it was absolutely warranted, that he was not happy with the way we played. It wasn't. What do you say? It was not the best football we've ever played, but we got 3 points. We had opportunities to score more goals. When it came to making the final pass, we should have done better, and we could do better offensively. And that's I agree with that 100%. And I'm glad that Xherdan Shaqiri is mature enough, to say, this is what happened. Sure, and with change in the lineup, things are going to be a little bit different. Because like you said, Sadio Mane is not there. Xherdan Shaqiri is not even getting a lot of playing time. I'm glad to see he's out there. I'm glad he's still enjoying himself. And I'm glad
apparently he has a very, very good relationship with Jurgen Klopp.
My understanding, and he's happy with his role right now. I would like to see him expand that role, but I think you've said it. Where's he going to go? Bobby Firmino sat on the bench. Xherdan Shaqiri got some playing time, and I'm okay with that. I don't. Bobby Firmino is one of my favorites. Xherdan Shaqiri is a really exciting player for me to watch. And I think, mixed with the fact that they just maybe underestimated Huddersfield a little bit. And then the fact that they've got, a pretty significant change in the lineup that was pretty sudden. It may have just, kind of dealt them, a little bit more than they were ready for. Because again, they're undefeated. And they got the 3 points, and they're still fighting in their top three, with Chelsea and City. City's running away with it again, though, man. They're like plus 10 over Liverpool and Chelsea on goals at least.
Yeah, because they got a 5-0 win over Burnley.
Yeah.
Just an absolute stomping over Joe Hart. Poor soul.
Poor fella.
But you're playing a top team like that, and that's just how City plays.
Yeah.
They are. We said it last season. They are a well-oiled machine, and it's destructive.
And they're all having fun,
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to see Kevin De Bruyne back too.
Yeah.
The passes, just looking at match stats on that, is almost 600 to 200 passes. And that takes a lot. When you're a defender or you're even, a midfielder, and the attacking team is just passing the ball. Just, being patient, it absolutely wears you out. And it helps create the chances. It was 25-5 on shots, I think. It's insane. But yeah, City is really exciting to watch. I hear people talk about, Manchester City, and I'm like, I have nothing bad to say about City. I'm a Liverpool supporter, and that's how it is. But when Manchester City plays, I really enjoy watching it. It's like watching Barcelona play. That quick passing, and they're not just passing to pass. The passes are meaningful. They're drawing a defender to one side or the other. They're drawing midfield deeper. They're doing what they want to do with the passes, and it's incredible to watch. It's just, Pep Guardiola really has his team, in hand, and they are all, every one of them have bought into it. They're all really willing to play,
and that's how Pep Guardiola does.
Yeah.
He did it at Barcelona,
Yeah.
and he's absolutely creating what in America we would call a dynasty.
Sure.
In City.
Yeah.
It's insanity. Yeah. Cardiff finally getting a win this season, their first win this week over Fulham 4-2.
That was a fun match to watch.
They played fantastically. It was
merciless.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely ruthless. They had the 2 goals, from Fulham, but every goal from Cardiff was a legit goal, and it was ice cold, and they were really having a good time, and that's good for them. They struggled to get back into the Premier League, and coming back into the Premier League is a hard thing to do. You watch these teams that get promoted and they just get beat down, and Cardiff they're fighting that fight, but the fact that they got a good win over another promoted team, who ironically they got relegated with 4 years ago. and got promoted with this season. So and just duking it out, and then a big win at home. I mean, a 4-2
Yeah.
win at home, that's great, and it was a very entertaining match. 6 really good goals.
A 0-0 draw between Bournemouth and Southampton. Two teams that are still fighting it. Bournemouth. I'm actually surprised Bournemouth didn't win that game, with the way that they've been playing recently.
I think Eddie Howe was kind of surprised too.
I don't know what happened.
They just didn't finish.
They just didn't.
Just didn't finish.
Yeah, they just weren't as heavy with the attack as they were in the final third. Kind of a disappointing win for Tottenham, and I say that because it's kind of been a disappointing season for them. They've been getting the wins. They're still, pretty high on the table, but their main players just aren't.
Well, and it's kind of like
performing.
the Liverpool thing, It's a 1-0 win against West Ham.
Well, I mean, and West Ham's been doing really well this season. About as good as West Ham does. Usually, West Ham's fighting in the bottom of the table, and they're mid-table right now. They're actually they're 14th, so which I kind of consider mid-table. But they're playing really well against some of the top teams. They forced a draw out of Chelsea a couple weeks ago. So I mean, West Ham's not a team to mess with.
And actually, that looking at match stats for that game was really an even match. West Ham to Tottenham's 44-56 on possession, 13-10 on shots, 12-9 on chances, 307 passes to 437, 81 and 86 percentage. I mean, it was a really even match. 10 corners to 6 corners and a 1-0 scoreline. I mean, that means West Ham, put up their dukes, and told Tottenham, you got to bring it. So
now I have one question: what is going on with Harry Kane? I think he has like 1 goal this season.
I think he's got more than one, but I think he's got some penalties. Let me see if I can find player stats. What's going on with Harry Kane? I don't know. I think he's really disappointed with the World Cup. I think he's
got
disappointed.
5 goals.
Yeah. It's early in the season. Harry Kane is a lot like Tottenham when it comes to performance. He's either on or he's not. And that's the same way with Tottenham. They're either on or they're not. They don't have mediocre. Well, I guess they do because they just did against West Ham. But Harry Kane, I think his emotions get him. I think he's got some confidence issues. If he's not running away with a golden boot or a golden ball, something like that, I think he gets down on himself, and I think it hurts him in the way he plays. Mm-hmm. He's a fantastically gifted player. I think just sometimes if he's not scoring goal after goal after goal, he wonders what's wrong himself, instead of just saying, no, I just didn't score a goal today. That's what I think is going on with Harry Kane. I think it's just a confidence issue, round and round. So, that's the answer. My answer to your question.
Watford.
What's your answer? Put it in the comments below. Sorry.
Yeah. Watford got back on their winning ways with a 2-0 win over Wolverhampton. This was actually a pretty even game. Two teams that are doing really well this season. Watford had kind of been on a slump recently, and they got back into it. And Wolverhampton was able to. They were kind of on a hot streak recently. But it was kind of it's kind of a disappointing game for them. I'm glad to see Watford pulling it out.
Yeah. I've enjoyed watching Wolverhampton play, and I was expecting them to win that match.
These two teams are actually 7th and 9th in the table.
There you go.
Watford and Wolves, respectively. There's only a point between them, and goal differential was the same. They're both ahead of Man United right now.
You heard that right.
United's in 10th as of this moment. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's whew. Something's gonna happen.
That was
pretty
a really
recently.
good match too. I enjoyed watching that one too.
But I don't know. It's kind of disappointing in my opinion because I guess I was rooting for Wolverhampton.
Yeah, I was
wasn't,
too. You know,
I wasn't mutual there. But it's also good to see a team like Watford, still do really well and maintain their high spot on the table.
Yeah.
Everton pulled out a fantastic win over Crystal Palace. Palace is struggling again.
Yeah, it's a lot of the same problems. They're just not putting the pieces together. They have them.
Well,
they're there.
And there's stuff like they had a penalty pretty early on in the game.
Yeah,
and it just, you got to score a penalty.
that's true. That's true.
There's absolutely no excuse for you to miss a penalty unless the keeper saves it. If the keeper saves it, congratulations, fantastic save, sir, and walk away. But was this saved? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Let me look at the lap checker. But hey, we don't want to talk about penalties. We talk about Riyad Mahrez's penalty shot again. I think that's
right.
Still going.
He put it right down the middle, and Pickford kick saved it.
That's right. Yep, it was really with his right foot. Yep.
You can't put it right down the middle. Anyways, that's my opinion. But I think Everton absolutely deserved to win that game. They outplayed Palace in every way, shape, and form. I don't know what Roy Hodgson's gonna do. He's got players. He has a fantastic squad. And they keep saying that they're buying into his philosophy and they're buying into his tactics, but it's not working. So something's gonna have to happen. If they want to stay in this league.
Well, and especially with Crystal Palace just lost to Everton, and then they host Arsenal,
who is on a tear right now.
Who's on a tear. And then they go. They have Chelsea, Tottenham, and Manchester United coming up. So Palace has a really tough run coming up. Everton goes to Old Trafford, I think, next. I think that's what's happening. I know they play United, but I think it's at Old Trafford. Yes, it's at Old Trafford. So they've got a little bit of confidence. They've got some goals. They got 3 points. Everton, they're top of they're the top half of the table, 8th place, actually between Watford and Wolves, but which is good. Everton should be on the rise. They got a new manager who seems to be doing really well with his team. Might be part of the problem that Watford's having, but of course they just got 3 points, away from home even. So we'll see.
And the final game of the week was it was so much fun to watch. Arsenal Leicester. You have no idea how happy it makes me personally to see Mesut Ozil perform like that.
Yes. It was good.
Absolutely world class. Yeah. He was the creator of 2 goals, and he scored the equalizing goal, their first goal.
Yeah.
And it honestly, in my opinion, it should have been 3-0. Hector Bellerin got very, very unfortunate. He was defending. It was supposed to be a cross. And he put his foot in and it deflected it into the net. There's nothing you can do about that.
But at the same time, Hector Bellerin knows how to respond to stuff like
exactly.
that. He had a fantastic game, other than that one little misstep.
He went and got. He had 2 assists.
So he had 2 assists. He assisted
Mesut Ozil's and the first Aubameyang goal.
Yeah, and both of those goals were just nuts. They were really good goals. And like you said, Mesut Ozil, world class. I know I've talked some crap about him over the last couple of years, but the last 2 or 3 seasons under Arsene Wenger, he was not playing world class ball. And I was like, okay, is this guy done? He was still playing for Germany, but I was like, should he be?
When he's no longer he retired from international football after the World Cup.
Well, and now he's got to focus on just on his club ball, and with his new manager Unai Emery, he seems to be doing really well, and I'm glad about that because he's a good player. He's a very exciting player. He's an incredibly creative player, imaginative. I think, and I know this is gonna kind of maybe rub you the wrong way, but I think Mesut Ozil is a better creator than Eden Hazard. I don't know that I would ever say he's a better player than Eden Hazard, but I think his creative whatever is just a little on the edge.
I can agree with that.
But Eden Hazard, better all around player. Eden Hazard is probably one of the best players in the league right now, if not the best. And he's on fire. I mean, the cat is lit.
I think their game against United is the first game this season that he hasn't scored.
But he was everywhere. I mean, how many times did he get fouled? I mean, and he was, with a number 10. Is he wearing? Yeah, he's wearing number 10. Yeah, I mean, he's got that free roam to play wherever the space is at, and he's very good at being there. He didn't score, but he was involved in a lot. And I don't know that. I guess maybe he would have been my man of the match for that, I don't know, man. Just the cool stuff that Rudiger, really good. I mean, that was a great goal, and just the way David Luiz helped him set that up, was really really cool. But yeah, like you said, good to see Mesut Ozil playing. I mean, it was top class. This was top shelf stuff, man. This was Mesut Ozil of days gone by. So hopefully he keeps that up and we can say he's back, but we'll see.
I was mistaken. He didn't score against Arsenal and he didn't score against West Ham because that was a 0-0 draw.
Okay.
But he's got 7 goals right now in the league. He's leading the league.
He's leading the league.
He missed the first 2 games of the season because he was coming back from the World Cup. So I mean, he's taking he's destroying the league again this season, and hopefully you can push Chelsea a little bit further. Hopefully win a trophy. We'll see. I don't think so either. I honestly, I really do still think that Liverpool's going to win the league this year.
They're going to have to pick it up a little bit. They're going to have to pick it because City is on that run. That machine is still humming at full speed. And I don't see any, and they just got better because they just got Kevin De Bruyne back.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really good fight. I really do. And I think it's going to be City, Liverpool, Chelsea really battling it out. And hopefully everybody stays healthy and keeps those competitions really good.
2 points separating 1st and 5th right now.
Wow.
1st and 2nd are equal on points. 3rd, 4th, and 5th are all equal on points.
So it's all goals.
It's all goals right now.
And that's where, I mean, Man City has 23 plus, and Liverpool in second place has 13. So, I mean, equal on points, but it's a 10-goal difference. And that's going to be a big thing coming down the stretch, with stuff like that. The City getting a 5-0 win and Liverpool getting a 1-0 win.
And that's how a lot of teams do it nowadays.
Sure.
I mean, look at Barcelona. Barcelona's philosophy basically is, we're going to try and prevent you from scoring.
But we are going to outscore.
But we are going to absolutely outscore you, even if you do score.
Yeah. And that was Liverpool's mindset once upon a time. They wouldn't stop you from scoring, but they were going to outscore the opponent. Well, now they've got a better goalkeeper. Sorry, Mignolet. Anyway. So they've got a better goalkeeper, but they need to go ahead and get that attack burning again. That fast. As soon as the first whistle blows, just start barreling for it, and put the opponent back on his heels and keep him there. And I've not been seeing that, and especially against Huddersfield, I didn't see it, and it was a nail biter. Thank God Mo Salah, got a goal, or it would have been a 0-0 draw, with Huddersfield, and that would have been really disappointing. But it should have been much more than one. So yeah, they outscored their opponent, but they didn't do what I know Liverpool can do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Next week, I'm very excited for this game.
Who's
Tottenham City.
That is going to be good.
That could end up being good for Liverpool. That could put Liverpool ahead on points if it ends up being a draw or a loss for City.
I don't see that happening.
I don't see that happening. I do see that being a win for City. But that will be a fantastic game. Chelsea will be playing Burnley. And who does Liverpool play next week?
Liverpool is they're hosting Cardiff.
They're hosting Cardiff.
Yeah.
Well, Cardiff's coming off a good win.
Yeah.
So they've got some morale and momentum with them. Hopefully Liverpool can step it up and stay in the fight.
They better.
But season's really starting to heat up. We're starting to get into the thick of it.
Yeah.
The long stretch of games coming through before we get to the final stretch. And it's going to get exciting real quick.
Yep.
So stay tuned. And you want to bring it out?
We'll bring it out. That's all we got. Thanks for watching Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas. Big special thanks to our friend Macrophonic MC for letting us use the music. You guys really need to check him out. The links are there. Go check out Macrophonic MC. He's an incredibly talented artist. You won't be disappointed. Even it doesn't matter what kind of music you enjoy. You're going to like this guy. I mean, I'm a heavy metal fan, and I like Macrophonic MC. So check it out. Big thanks to him. Big thanks to Thomas for doing all the editing and production of the videos. I just sit here and talk, and then Thomas does everything else. So thanks, buddy. Appreciate you doing that. Check out the T-shirt shop. T-shirts are still there. Still got the breast cancer T-shirts.
For another week.
Yep. So go to the T-shirt shop, order you a breast cancer awareness shirt. It's the Inside the Six logo with the pretty pink ribbon on it. Be proud to wear that. I got pink hair, so big shout out to my good friend Paige Klutchka for pinking the do. And sticker shop's also there too. Check out the links. Subscribe. Click those so you get notifications. We try to do an episode a week for Premier League. And then, so if you have any questions, any comments, send us a message.
Champions League is coming up.
Champions
the Champions League is actually being played. Well, it was played earlier today, the day of us recording this. So we'll go over that next week as well.
We'll have some Champions League stuff. So, like I said, leave us a message, share everything, and
I got one more piece of news.
Okay.
Barcelona will be without Lionel Messi for the next 6 games.
Yeah, I forgot.
Is it 6 games or 6 weeks?
6 games.
6 games. I think it's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He fractured his arm against Sevilla. And El Clasico is coming up.
And well, the thing with El Clasico is it's not going to have Messi
or
Ronaldo for the first time in a decade.
Plus, I think.
So that'll be exciting. So we'll talk about that.
Yes.
But anyway, that's Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. And we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Thanks,
Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.